Only 1 hour left. Archangel Michael is trying to speak to you about something unexpected, and God says you must open this before it disappears forever. This isn't just a title, it's a divine alert, a prophetic echo across realms, reaching you in your now moment with intentional urgency. There is something sacred, something urgent, something deeply unexpected that heaven had been trying to whisper, but now must roar. Not tomorrow, not in a few hours, but now, because time is folding. You are not scrolling. You are summoned. You are not here by chance. You are being spiritually intercepted. This is a moment of divine convergence. A prophetic signal has pierced through the veil, and what stands before you is not information, it's activation. There's a message sealed in mystery, placed directly in your path by divine intelligence. Someone or something is trying to reach you. Archangel Michael, commander of God's heavenly armies, is now stepping forward, not with sword drawn, but with a word blazing. A message concealed for such a time as this. The urgency in the title mirrors the urgency in the spirit. Only 1 hour left is not clickbait, it's a countdown. It's the final hour of waiting, of delay, of spiritual silence. It's the last lap before a divine exposure, a final unlocking before the window closes. This is a sacred interruption, a heavenly override, a moment in time that will not revisit your timeline again. When God says open it, He means now, before it disappears forever. Because if you do not open what's being sent to you now, a blessing marked with your name may vanish into spiritual escrow, delayed by forces that were never meant to hold your inheritance. Archangel Michael is trying to reach you. Not later, not next week, but now, because something unexpected is about to be revealed. Type 111 to affirm. I am spiritually present and ready to receive the divine revelation that belongs to me. You're not imagining this. What you felt when you saw this message was not confusion, it was contact. It was the piercing flash of divine presence brushing your spirit, tapping your heart, and calling your name. Archangel Michael is not whispering now, he is speaking with celestial urgency. And heaven is issuing you a sacred directive. Open this before it disappears forever. This isn't just a moment on a screen. This is a moment carved into the timeline of your life. This message found you because it was sent for you. You were summoned. You were pulled here by divine current, not curiosity. The timing is not a coincidence. The feeling in your chest is not nerves, it's recognition. The countdown in the spirit has begun, and this right here is your divine interruption. You're not behind. You're not late. You were hidden until this moment. And now, heaven is pulling back the curtain. Michael, the archangel of war, protection, and truth, is stepping forward with a word so urgent, so unexpected, it couldn't be delivered through ordinary means. It had to find you this way. Because there is someone trying to reach you, and if you don't hear it now, the moment will pass. This is the only hour you have left to respond in obedience, in faith, and in discernment. You were not meant to live in confusion. You were not meant to stay in delay. But a spirit of interference, sent from shadows, has wrapped itself around your path. And now, heaven is breaking protocol. God is issuing a sacred override. That voice in your head, the one that's been nudging you, pulling at you, warning you, that wasn't anxiety, it was alignment. That was divine intersection. The voice of the Most High didn't abandon you. It's been building this moment so that when you hear these words, your spirit remembers what your mind tried to forget. This isn't just a message, it's a key. And the door it unlocks won't stay open long. Here are decisions, alignments, and destinies hanging in the balance. Here is a silence, being broken, a truth being unveiled, and a final test being prepared. That weight you've been carrying, the uncertainty, that invisible pressure, it's not all yours. You've been absorbing frequencies that weren't sent for you. You've been feeling interference that was meant to distract, not direct. And now, Archangel Michael has been dispatched to clear the path and deliver what was withheld. This is your sacred hour. Heaven is closer now than you felt in months. The veil is thin. Your spiritual sensitivity is increasing. You've been asking for a sign, for a message, for clarity, and here it is. It's not coming in a dream this time. It's coming through the voice of command. Archangel Michael does not whisper. He declares. And what he declares cannot be undone by any darkness. No curse, no delay, no confusion, no betrayal will override the message that's arriving now. The unexpected is not your enemy, it's your breakthrough in disguise. This is your divine interruption. This is your 1 hour window. Not because God runs out of mercy, but because destiny runs on obedience. Heaven operates on honor, and to dishonor the timing is to delay the blessing. You were meant to hear this. Not tomorrow. Now. Declare in the comments. 555. I receive this sacred interruption. I open my spirit to divine instruction and protection. There is a reason the silence felt louder lately. There is a reason the path seemed clear for a moment, only to blur with confusion the next. What you thought was just emotional fatigue wasn't simply stress, it was sabotage. Spiritual interference didn't crash into your life. It crept in, cloaked in charm and wrapped in familiarity. Someone or something has been pulling at your spirit, draining your energy, and sowing whispers of doubt at just the right moments. You didn't imagine it. You discerned it. This interference didn't come as an enemy, it came disguised as a helper. It wore the face of a friend, spoke the language of support, mimicked the gestures of care. But deep underneath, there was a different assignment. You kept giving benefit of the doubt, kept silencing your intuition, kept rewriting your own perceptions to preserve peace. But peace that requires you to ignore your discernment is not peace, it's manipulation. And now, heaven is unmasking the hidden saboteur. This presence wasn't helping you, it was harvesting you, draining your emotional resources, delaying your divine clarity, and distorting your view of self. Every time you stepped into alignment, something would pull you back. Every time joy began to return, something would whisper, "Not yet." That was not divine timing, it was demonic tethering. Archangel Michael is stepping in now to break the contract you never signed, to cut cords wrapped in false light, and to expose the one behind the confusion. This wasn't confusion, it was calculation. The slow erosion of your inner voice wasn't random. The pressure to second-guess yourself wasn't born from humility, it was injected by a spirit of control. You were being drained, not because you were weak, but because you carry something powerful, something magnetic. And what you carry frightened the one pretending to love you. They didn't just fear your growth, they feared what your growth would reveal about them. You were asking, why does it feel like something's off? And the answer is because it was. Your spirit never lied to you. The heaviness wasn't just emotional, it was spiritual interference tightening around your joy, your clarity, your peace. The one you kept defending in private. They were undermining you in silence. Jealousy doesn't always yell. Sometimes it smiles, listens, and waits for your most vulnerable moment. But the moment of betrayal was not your failure. It was your freedom in disguise. And now that you've reached the edge of awakening, Archangel Michael comes not to just expose the lie, but to fortify your truth. You were never too sensitive. You were never imagining. the energy shift. You were detecting spiritual warfare long before you had the words. And the reason you couldn't move forward wasn't a lack of faith, it was a spiritual leech attached to your promise. But now the light is too strong. The masquerade can't survive exposure. And what was hidden in flattery is being unraveled by fire. There will be no more pretending. No more false alignment. No more spiritual compromise. What's being revealed is not meant to shame you, it's meant to reclaim you. God is not punishing you with this exposure. He's freeing you through it. The delay was not proof of your failure. It was proof of your protection. You were preserved while heaven dealt with what you didn't yet see. The unexpected message Archangel Michael brings is this: you were never the problem, you were the prophecy. And that's why interference had to come dressed in loyalty. Because nothing else could have gotten close enough to sabotage you. Type 777 and declare, what was hidden is now revealed. I renounce all false alliances and claim my divine clarity and peace. You've seen the signs. You felt the shift. And now, heaven is confirming what your spirit has been trying to interpret in silence. This isn't the first time you were warned. This isn't the first time God sent a message. This is simply the hour when you are finally allowed to understand it. What was cryptic is now becoming clear. What was symbolic is now speaking in a language your soul recognizes. You've been waking up at strange hours, 3:33, 4:44, sometimes with your heart pounding and your breath shallow. That wasn't anxiety, it was visitation. The spirit realm has been brushing your consciousness, whispering in the hours when distractions are quiet. And some nights, you didn't dream, you traveled. You entered realms where spirit tried to alert you of the plot forming behind your back, of the person whose smile masked hidden motives. Maybe you saw snakes or broken mirrors or doors you couldn't open. Maybe fire surrounded you, or water pulled you in. These weren't just dreams. These were dispatches from heaven, symbols sent by the divine to awaken what men tried to suppress in you. Have you noticed things breaking? Keys falling, glass shattering, phones glitching, doors closing too quickly, objects disappearing. Those were not clumsy moments, they were prophetic signals. Heaven was shifting your atmosphere, nudging your attention, urging you to slow down and pay attention. Even the birds, yes, the birds have been trying to speak. A hawk circling, a blackbird crying, a white feather landing, a cat staring at nothing, a butterfly dancing in impossible places. These are not nature's coincidences. These are heaven's signatures. You are not being haunted. You are being warned and prepared. As certain numbers followed you like shadows. 111 the beginning. 222 the alignment. 333 divine intervention. 444 angelic presence. 555 incision. These are not illusions. These are not just algorithms. These are frequency markers, divine timestamps sent to punctuate your journey. Every number is a signal. Every repetition is a knock. God has been trying to get your attention without terrifying you. But now, the gentle nudges must become sacred declarations. Heaven is no longer hinting. Heaven is now speaking. You felt the burn in your palms, the tightening in your chest, the tears that came out of nowhere, the breath that caught for no reason, the waves of exhaustion after encountering certain people. These were not your body failing. These were your spirit reacting. Your temple is sensitive, not weak. You are not fragile, you are attuned. And everything in you has been sounding the alarm. You were never crazy. You were never reaching. You were receiving. Some of you even tried to dismiss it. It's just coincidence, you said. I'm just tired, you whispered. But God never stopped sending signs, because he knew that the moment of unmasking was coming, and when it arrived, you would need evidence that you weren't wrong. This is your evidence. This is your confirmation. That strange conversation. That moment when someone called you by the wrong name. That item you found in a place it should not be. All signs, all wordings, all divine fingerprints. That wasn't coincidence. That was confirmation. You were being prepared to break a cycle, to confront a dissection, and to walk through a spiritual door that only opens once. Archangel Michael is now validating the experiences you couldn't explain to anyone. And now that the confirmation is flowing, you must no longer doubt what you saw, heard, or felt. The time for ignoring signs is over. The countdown has begun. The message must be received, believed, and responded to. Type 333 and affirm. That wasn't coincidence, it was confirmation. I see the signs. I receive the truth. I walk in divine awareness. The mask is falling. You don't have to guess anymore. You don't have to search for the perfect proof or keep replaying conversations in your mind, wondering if you were overthinking. The truth is already rising. The light is already pressing in. What was buried under layers of manipulation, charm, false alignment, and disguised loyalty is now surfacing, not because you forced it, but because heaven decreed it. There is a divine unmasking underway, and Archangel Michael has gone before you to initiate it. You don't have to swing your sword. You don't have to raise your voice. This battle belongs to the Lord, and he is not silent anymore. He is revealing through mistakes, slips of the tongue, dreams, divine encounters, and undeniable moments of realization. The energy around this person, this place, this situation is shifting, and even they can feel the cover slipping. The mask is no longer fitting their face, because their time in your life has expired. You will see it in their body language, in their responses, in how they speak when they think you're not watching, in how they move when you no longer chase. What once felt hidden in confusion will now become obvious. They will expose themselves not because you're looking harder, but because God is removing the veil. Divine justice doesn't need your hands. Divine timing doesn't need your help. What was meant to be kept from you is now being handed to you on the altar of revelation. You'll start to hear things that confirm what your spirit always knew. You'll overhear what was meant to be concealed. You'll receive random texts, unexpected confessions, or see something on social media that wasn't meant for your eyes, but heaven will make sure you see it. This is not about shame or revenge. This is about truth. And truth always cries out when destiny is near. Heaven is already moving. The gears of divine justice are turning. What they tried to hide with charm will now stumble over the weight of its own lie. Don't be shocked when they start acting distant, or suddenly kind, or unusually watchful. They feel it. They sense your awakening. They're aware that the version of you who tolerated this spiritual interference no longer exists. They'll try to stabilize the connection again, but the bond hath been cut in the spirit. You don't owe them war. You owe yourself freedom. You are not crazy. You are clear. And heaven is now confirming that clarity with movement. And for those wondering, should I confront them? Should I explain what I've seen? No. Don't dilute your discernment trying to justify it. Don't cheapen your clarity by begging for validation. Stand still. Watch what unfolds. Watch who distances themselves. Watch who begins to self-sabotage. You don't have to unmask them. Their own energy will. This is a divine reversal. Everything they tried to withhold from you, everything they tried to delay or sabotage, is now returning, but not through them. The mask is falling, and so is their influence. Your obedience to stay still, to stay clean in spirit, and to stay in alignment is the greatest weapon you can wield right now. Remember this: when heaven moves to reveal, no darkness can stay hidden. Type 444 to affirm. I receive divine clarity. I will not chase. I will not confront. I will watch as heaven unmasks every hidden thing. Let's speak plainly now. You have grieved in silence over things that were never supposed to be delayed. Doors that seemed to open and then slammed shut without warning. Relationships that promised healing but delivered hurt. Opportunities that danced in front of you, only to vanish before your hands could grasp them. You've cried not just over what you lost, but over what never arrived. The pain you've been carrying isn't just heartbreak, a spiritual weight. It's the ache of promise denied. But hear me now, what was taken from you was never lost. It was withheld for divine protection. That person you thought would support your destiny, they weren't qualified to carry it. That door that refused to open when you needed it most, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. The silence you faced when you begged heaven for movement wasn't neglect, it was shielding. You didn't know what was waiting behind those premature yeses. You didn't see the shadows hiding behind the opportunity. But God did. And that's why He allowed the delay. You thought you were being punished for not doing enough. But the truth is, you were being preserved because you've always carried too much. The divine hand that held you back wasn't trying to deny you. It was trying to purify the room before you entered. You were never rejected by heaven. You were hidden by it. And every single delay you wept over was actually time to detox your future of unnecessary attachments. They didn't leave because you failed. They were removed because you're favored. Still, let's not deny the pain. You paid a price. Emotionally, mentally, even physically. Sleepless nights. Hollow smiles. Moments where your faith felt like it was bleeding out. You've watched people move forward who didn't carry half your integrity. You've seen others celebrated for gifts they didn't protect. And you wondered, why them? Why not me? Heaven saw that question. And heaven wept with you. But heaven also saw what you didn't, that the delay was your deliverance in disguise. The truth is this: what was delayed is returning, but not in the same form. God is not recycling the old. He is revealing the refined. Your next season is not a restoration of what broke, it is a resurrection of what was born in silence. And no one, absolutely no one, who played a part in your delay will play a role in your deliverance. The people who doubted you, who left you, who used you, who betrayed you, they will watch what heaven places in your hands, and they will not understand how it happened so quickly. But you will know. You will remember this moment. You will remember this word. Because you were not just delayed. You were reset, or calibrated. Your energy was being fine-tuned to resonate at the frequency of truth, not trauma. You were being pulled out of places that felt good but weren't God. And now, what's been withheld is aligning to meet you in divine order. Not rushed, not broken, but blessed. Don't mourn what didn't come. Celebrate what is still on the way. Because heaven has always saved the best wine for last. Top 888 and decree. What was delayed is being released. I am aligned, preserved, and positioned for the blessing that bears my name. You felt it. It's subtle but undeniable. It's that sudden inhale of clarity after weeks of spiritual suffocation. It's that quiet in your chest after months of emotional chaos. The shift has already begun. You may not have recognized it at first, but your spirit knows. You're lighter. You're clear. You're no longer attached to what used to grip you so easily. The old emotional patterns are losing their grip. The arguments you used to entertain now feel beneath you. The people who once made your heart race now barely move your spirit. This isn't apathy, it's ascension. You've been elevated. This shift didn't announce itself with thunder. It arrived like a whisper in your bloodstream. You woke up different. You reacted differently. You chose peace instead of proving your point. That wasn't weakness. That was wisdom taking root. That was heaven confirming that the cord was cut and the spiritual interference had finally been expelled. You're not who you were just days ago. You've shed a version of yourself that was carrying trauma, and heaven is now upgrading the frequency of your path. You've cried enough tears to flood a city, but now your tears are no longer breaking you, they're baptizing you. Every drop that fell was never wasted. It softened the soil for the seed you are about to walk into. You are in the final stages of energetic breakthrough. The war around you hasn't disappeared, it just lost permission to touch you. That ache in your chest, it's not grief, it's your soul stretching into new territory. What you're feeling isn't confusion, it's expansion. The saboteur has gone silent. Maybe they haven't reached out. Maybe they have. But either way, you don't feel pulled anymore. You don't feel hooked into their emotional bait. You're seeing clearly now. You're hearing the spirit without static. That's how you know the energetic contract has been dissolved. You're no longer entertaining chaos disguised as connection. You're no longer drawn to patterns that once held you hostage. You've shifted. And this time, it's sacred. Don't expect the shift to be dramatic. Don't wait for fireworks. A real transformation won't scream. It will settle. It will ground you. It will silence every inner accusation that said you were too broken to be free. Peace is the evidence. Stillness is the sign. You won't need to chase closure anymore. You won't need their explanation. Your spirit is no longer starved for validation. That is breakthrough. You are not falling behind. You are not stuck. You are not too late. You are exactly where heaven positioned you to receive what couldn't reach you before because your energy was still entangled with sabotage. But now you're ready. Not because you fought harder, but because you surrendered deeper. Archangel Michael didn't just war for you, he warred through you. And now, the chains are broken. The atmosphere is cleared. The interference is gone. This shift won't be loud. It will be sacred. And it will change everything. Type 999 and declare, I feel the shift. I walk in freedom. I honor the peace that proves the breakthrough is real. It always comes back one more time. Right when you've detached. Right when your peace has returned. Right when the silence has finally started to feel like safety instead of abandonment, that's when the test appears. Not because heaven is cruel, but because liberation demands proof. The final test before your complete release is not a demon in a nightmare, it's a familiar voice wearing a softer tone, a deceptive peace wrapped in apology, or a nostalgia-coded memory that tries to make you question everything you've just healed from. Make no mistake. The enemy doesn't mind if you believe in God. He fears when you start obeying him. He panics when you detach from soul ties that were draining your discernment. And now that you've shifted, now that Archangel Michael has cut the cords, the adversary has one final move. It's not force. It's seduction. It's not warfare. It's familiarity. They'll return not as the saboteur, but as the reformed version of themselves. But hear me, child of light, this is not restoration. This is a trap. They'll say the right words. They'll speak of healing. They may cry. They may confess. But discernment is your protection, and silence is your weapon. This isn't the time to explain your growth. This isn't the time to prove your pain. This is the hour to stand still and let your freedom speak louder than your response. Don't return to the place God delivered you from just because the atmosphere feels familiar. Comfort does not mean covenant. You'll feel the temptation, not just to reconnect, but to doubt yourself, to wonder if maybe you were too harsh, to question if maybe you misunderstood. But remember, this is not about being polite. This is about being protected. If the return doesn't come with repentance, accountability, and spiritual fruit, then it's not a resurrection, it's a replay. And you can't afford to rerun what nearly ruined you. They'll offer peace, but it's poison. They'll try to remind you of the good times, but won't take responsibility for the pain they caused. They'll speak of missing you, but not of changing for you. The test is not about their words, it's about your wisdom. Can you honor your peace more than your history? Can you choose alignment over attachment? Can you walk away not in bitterness, but in clarity? This is your final hour of testing. You've been faithful. You've been broken open and built again in silence. Don't let emotional bait pull you back into cycles heaven broke. This is not your fight to finish. It's your assignment to walk away from. Don't chase closure. Don't seek understanding. The Spirit will confirm what your soul already knows. Some people are not meant to be part of your breakthrough. They were only meant to reveal what you needed to heal. Discernment is your sword now. Silence is your strategy. Obedience is your shield. You have passed too many tests to fail now. The final hook is emotional, and Archangel Michael says, "Guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life." This is not the season for second chances with first offenders. This is the moment you graduate from cycles into covenant. And the hour to choose freedom over familiarity is now. Type 000 and decree, "This is my final test. I will not return. I choose divine protection over emotional attachment. I walk forward unhooked." You've made it to the end of the message, but you are standing at the beginning of a new divine era. The unmasking has taken place. The energy has shifted. The final test has revealed itself, and you chose obedience. You chose clarity. You chose protection over comfort. You passed the exam that couldn't be graded by human hands, because heaven was watching. God saw the moments you resisted old patterns. He saw when you chose peace instead of proving yourself. He watched you turn down the counterfeit in faith that the promise was still on the way. And now comes the restoration. This is not just a return of what was lost. This is a divine repayment with interest. For every moment you cried in silence, for every promise that felt denied, for every cycle you broke in secret, there is a blessing being assigned to your name. The angels have recorded it. The heavens have confirmed it. Archangel Michael did not just war for your protection, he fought for your positioning. And your positioning has changed. You are no longer aligned with sabotage. You are no longer yoked to deception. The cords are cut. The mask has fallen. The interference is broken. And the new energy forming around you is not temporary, it is the reward of obedience. You've realigned with your divine inheritance. You've reconnected with your highest spiritual order. And the heavenlies now decree, you are cleared. You are cleansed. You are restored. Receive these declarations now. Speak them aloud. Let your voice echo your deliverance. I am aligned with heaven's order. I am sealed by divine protection. I am released from all soul ties and sabotage. I am positioned for restoration, clarity, and peace. I am walking into blessings that were delayed but never denied. Type these words in the comments. Amen. 111, 333, 555 if this message resonates with your spirit and you receive the full restoration. The cycle is broken. The hour has come. The shift is permanent. You are free. And so it is. Seal this with Amen. 111, 333, 555 and decree. The energy is cleared. The cycle is broken. I stand in the fullness of divine revelation and restoration.